What is going on, everybody? How is everybody doing today? Today I am here with my second NBA 2020 mock draft, and today we are doing a post-trade deadline mock draft. So if you guys listen to my podcast, the Just Ballin' Podcast, on Spotify, on my second channel, and on Apple Podcasts, you kind of already got the gist of this. But what I did was I went on Tankathon. I'll put the picture on the screen now, as you can see. I randomly simulated the lottery because, hey, if we're doing a mock draft, this is not how the NBA lottery or the NBA draft order is going to be. Obviously, after the lottery, it's going to look different. So I decided to go on Tankathon, randomly simulate a lottery, and went from there. So you can see on the screen how I'm going to be doing this order throughout the video. The Pistons ended up getting the #1 pick. Cavs at 2, Hawks at 3, Warriors dropped from 1 to 4, Timberwolves dropped from 3 to 5, Knicks are at 6. And then it got the same throughout there from 7 to 14, with the Hornets being at 7, Bulls at 8, Wizards at 9. You get the gist. So without further ado, let's get into this mock draft. So with the first overall pick in the 2020 NBA draft, I have the Detroit Pistons, who won the lottery and jumped from pick 6 to pick 1, taking Anthony Edwards, a shooting guard out of Georgia. Anthony Edwards is arguably the consensus #1 pick in the 2020 draft. He's a talented wing with high-level scoring potential. He's not the most efficient wing player in the NCAA, but due to playing on a bad team, you can kind of think with the talent he will have in the NBA, better players around him, his game will translate well to the next level. Just the other night against South Carolina, they lost, but he scored 36 points, shooting 11 for 22 from the field, 4 for 11 on threes, and 10 for 12 from the line. Also had 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 steals. Detroit just traded one of their best players in Andre Drummond to the Cavs and are starting their rebuild. They could definitely consider a point guard here with Luke Kennard, Sekou Doumbouya, and Svi Mikhailiuk on the roster, but maybe they would like the Edwards fit next to Derrick Rose and Luke Kennard next season. This one was tough. At pick 2, I ended up having the Cleveland Cavaliers selecting James Wiseman, a center from Memphis. So the Cavs stayed at 2 here, and with spending their last 2 top 10 first-round picks on point guards in Colin Sexton and Darius Garland, Andre Drummond most likely opted in, and Kevin Love under contract the next couple years, it would be interesting to see what they do with the second overall pick in the draft. They could definitely use it on another wing to increase their depth of Kevin Porter Jr. and Cedi Osman, but it might be a reach for them to select a wing at the second pick in this point of time. They could definitely trade down, but I have them staying put and obviously selecting Wiseman. Wiseman might be the most intriguing prospect due to the lack of sample size we saw him play at Memphis this season. With Andre Drummond possibly leaving in free agency in 2021, Wiseman would be a nice cornerstone addition to this Cavs team. With the third pick in the 2020 NBA draft, I have the Atlanta Hawks selecting Deni Avdija from Maccabi Tel Aviv in Israel. With a young core of Trae Young, Kevin Huerter, DeAndre Hunter, Cam Reddish, John Collins, and Clint Capella, the Hawks don't have a ton of immediate needs to implement into their starting lineup for the 2020-2021 season. Before the trade deadline, I'm sure the Hawks would have loved for Wiseman to fall into their laps, but with the additions of Capella and Dwayne Dedmon, center shouldn't be in their plans for the 2020 draft. Deni Avdija could be a risk-reward wing coming over from Maccabi Tel Aviv and would provide pleasant floor spacing for the Hawks next year. The 2020-2021 season will be a huge development year for the Hawks wings of Avdija if they were to draft them, Huerter, Hunter, and Reddish, and they can decide based off those 4 which maybe 2 or 3 they should go with going forward. With the 4th pick in the draft, I have the Golden State Warriors, who unfortunately dropped from 1 to 4, selecting Onyeka Okongwu, center from USC. Obviously, James Wiseman wasn't available, as the Warriors would probably go for him if he was here at 4. But since he was selected 2 spots earlier by the Cavs, the Warriors will have to go with another big man here, and he might be projected better in the NBA than Wiseman, and that being obviously Okongwu. Okongwu has been a menace on defense for USC this year, and like I just said, he might project as a better NBA big on the defensive side of the ball than Wiseman at this current moment. With the lineup of Curry, Clay, Wiggins, Draymond, and Okongwu, you would have to think that that Warriors team will be back in the NBA Finals conversation next season. With the 5th pick in the draft, I have the Minnesota Timberwolves selecting Obi Toppin, a power forward from Dayton. Now, with the Wolves dropping from 3 to 5, I might have them taking the first real reach of the draft. But the T-Wolves desperately need someone who could play well alongside Karl Anthony Towns. Obi Toppin could be a potential 3-and-D power forward and a nice pick-and-roll roller to D'Angelo Russell for the T-Wolves. With a cluttered backcourt/wings of D'Lo, Malik Beasley, Jarrett Culver, and Josh Okogie, the 4 is by far their biggest need going into next year's season, but I wouldn't be surprised if they went with a combo guard like Killian Hayes or Tyrese Maxey here. At 6, I have the New York Knicks, who dropped from 5 to 6, selecting LaMelo Ball, a point guard from the NBL. So here it is, the first point guard off the board, and it comes all the way down to pick 6. With D'Angelo Russell, Steph Curry, and Trae Young being the starting point guards on the previous 3 picks, I didn't feel like it was right to have them selecting a point guard. The Knicks, though, on the other hand, desperately need a playmaking point guard, and LaMelo Ball, he might not have the highest defensive potential, but the offensive potential is 100% there. He could be a nice complementary backcourt piece to RJ Barrett, and would be a nice pick and roll point with Mitchell Robinson. Elfrid Payton, Dennis Smith Jr., Frank Ntilikina, none of those 3 are the answer at point guard for the Knicks' future, and LaMelo Ball could be that guy. At pick 7, I have the Charlotte Hornets selecting combo guard Killian Hayes from Germany. The Hornets are tricky here. They have a solid 1-4 going in next year's season, being Devontae Graham, Terry Rozier, Miles Bridges, and PJ Washington. They're definitely going to need a starting center to play next to PJ, but I don't think I see them reaching for one here. Killian Hayes has been rising up a lot of respectful people's draft boards as of late, and rightfully so. With Rozier becoming an unrestricted free agent in 2022 and Devontae Graham being a restricted free agent in 2022, Hayes could be a nice replacement if Charlotte decides not to bring one of those players back. With the 8th overall pick in the 2020 draft, I have the Chicago Bulls selecting Tyrese Maxey, a guard from Kentucky. Like the Hornets, the Bulls have most, if not all, of their starting lineup in place for next year's season, barring any major shakeup. Kobe White, their 2019 top 10 pick at point guard, Zach LaVine at shooting guard, Otto Porter depending on health, and if he opts in, which he probably will, at the 3, Lauri Markkanen at the 4, and Wendell Carter Jr. at the 5. I have them taking Maxey, who is a playmaking combo guard with defensive potential. His defense at Kentucky has been really good this year, especially his help defense, so that would be a nice bonus for Zach LaVine. I personally believe Maxey's position is still up in the air at the NBA level. He's a shooting guard playing next to Ashton Hagans at the moment, but he's only 6'3" and looks a little smaller than that on the 4, so maybe he'll be a point guard. We don't know yet at the next level. At 9, I have the Washington Wizards selecting Isaac Okoro, who's a wing from Auburn. The worst defensive team in the NBA might need some defensive help next year, and what's better than adding potentially the best defensive wing in this draft? With John Wall coming back next season and Bradley Beal's time in Washington could be coming to an end, the Wizards are going to try and be back in the playoff hunt next year 100%. A Wall, Beal, Okoro, Hashimura 1-4 with Thomas Bryant and Davis Bertans in the mix could make this Wizards return to the playoffs for the first time since 2018. At 10, I have the Phoenix Suns selecting a point guard from UNC, and that being Cole Anthony. If you told someone in September that Cole Anthony would be selected in the back half of the top 10, you would have been called crazy. But due to his injury-riddled and inefficient freshman season, he has been very disappointing, to say the least. To his credit, though, this UNC team he's currently playing on is really, really bad. With the Suns' youth movement continuing, Anthony could be a nice backcourt partner to Devin Booker, especially since Ricky Rubio's contract will be up in 2022, and with his injury history, he could be regressing very soon. At pick 11, I have the Sacramento Kings selecting RJ Barrett, a guard from the NBL. The Kings have a lot of solid players at this moment, but very few good ones. Out of Fox, Hield, Bogey, Barnes, Bagley, and Holmes, how many out of those 6 would you feel comfortable starting on a good team? 1, 2, 3. RJ Hampton is definitely a project at the moment, but he would be a nice guard to play with alongside Fox down the road, because there has been reported tensions rising with Hield in Sacramento, and we don't know if he'll be on this team next year, so RJ Hampton could possibly be a shooting guard next to Fox down the road. With the 12th pick in the 2020 NBA draft, I have the San Antonio Spurs selecting Jaden McDaniels. Potential. That's the reason for selecting Jaden McDaniels with a lottery pick in this year's draft. I would love to have the Spurs select one of the high-end guards here that are still left on the board, but with the cluttered backcourt of DeJounte Murray, Patty Mills, Derek White, Bryn Forbes, and Lonnie Walker, I just thought it wouldn't be in the Spurs' best interest. I expect DeRozan to opt out this June, which means both him and LaMarcus Aldridge will be unrestricted free agents in 2021. McDaniels might never be as good as one of those two players, but he could definitely replace one of those two in the starting rotation by then. At 13, I have the New Orleans Pelicans selecting point guard from Arizona in Nico Mannion. The Pelicans don't have many positional needs at the moment, but a backup or potential Lonzo Ball replacement down the line could be something to keep an eye on. Ball has most definitely taken a step forward this year, but being a restricted free agent in 2021, the Pelicans might be wary of spending major money on him after having to pay Brandon Ingram this summer and Zion eventually in 3 years. Mannion could also be a Frank Jackson replacement going to next season, because Jackson will be a free agent come July. And with the final pick of the 2020 NBA lottery, I have the Portland Trailblazers taking Tyrese Halliburton, a guard from Iowa State. Unfortunately, Halliburton's season has come to an end early due to a wrist injury, but he could be a very nice bench addition to a Portland team that desperately needs firepower off their bench. With Trevor Ariza having a non-guarantee for next year and Anthony Simons having a disappointing year, Halliburton could be a much-needed boost for this Blazers bench, who will once have playoff aspirations next year after maybe not making it this year, but we're gonna have to wait and see on that. So yeah, that is gonna be it. That is my post-trade deadline lottery mock draft. Technically, I guess my 1.5 or 2.0 mock draft of this year. Once again, let me reiterate this from last video. This is just a mock draft. This is not a big board. I'm not saying Nico Mannion is better than Tyrese Halliburton. I'm just having them picked where I think the team would select that said player. But yeah, like always in every mock draft, let me know what you agree with or disagree with in the comment section below. Or if you want to give me your top 5 or what your favorite team in the lottery would do, let me know. I think for next one, I might try to do a top 30, so a first round mock draft. I think that would be pretty fun. So yeah, if you guys can drop a like on this video and you want to see more mock drafts, let me know. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys next video. Peace.